All right, this is your man, Sir Earl, coming at you. Podcast again today. Today is April the 24th, which is a Friday. I'm recording it on Friday. I probably won't post it to Saturday or Sunday. Today I'm coming with you, special interview. We have Dr. Rita Mcguire. So we're going to come at you. We're going to do an interview with her. We're going to give you a little of her personal stuff, and then it's like a lot of people run around with this coronavirus mess, and she's one of the first responders on the front line doing a lot of stuff. In addition to other parts of our medical profession, where she has a specialty in, I think, delivering babies, which I don't understand. I saw it one time when my son was born, I almost passed out. But we're going to get to know her first, and then we'll talk a little bit about this pandemic nonsense that's going on. We've just been extended in Illinois another 30 days. So with no further ado, I want y'all to check out this video on YouTube, and I want to subscribe to it so you can get future interviews. So we do a lot of stuff in addition to our different platforms. We also do a lot of stuff on YouTube as far as video. So, all right, how you doing, Rita?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Earl, for having me on today.
Okay. So you're Dr. Rita Mcguire.
Yes.
Okay. What's your specialty?
I'm an obstetrician gynecologist. I've been practicing for over 30 years. And I trained in Michigan at Wayne State School of Medicine. Completed my residency here in Chicago at Cook County, which is now called Stroger.
Yeah, my cousin, she's a emergency room nurse. She works there.
Awesome.
So how long have you been doing that? How long have you been in that profession?
30 years now.
Oh, 30 years. Well, yeah, you did say that.
Yes.
Okay.
Long time. I've delivered over 8,000 babies. I guess I stopped counting, but I wish I had counted every single blessing. But certainly over 8,000 babies.
She probably delivered some of y'all badasses. So.
Yeah, probably.
So, okay, and you are fellas. One thing I want y'all to know, fellas, this is for the fellas now. She's single.
Yes.
Very attractive. She's a doctor. All right, and so, feel free to hit her up. No stalkers, no weirdos.
But very much into fitness, very much into a holistic way of addressing our health and wellness.
Right. She's actually, you're preparing for a wellness competition, right?
I am.
TA's helping her get ready for a wellness competition. If you go to her Facebook page, you'll see a lot of progressional pictures. She's actually looking really, really well. I'm looking forward to seeing her on stage. I know that's been a goal of hers. So definitely looking forward to it. How many kids do you have?
I have 3 children, 29, 23, and 22. 2 boys and a girl. One left in college. She's graduating May 31st of this year. She's at Wellesley in Boston. Okay. In Massachusetts, and so I'm excited that I'm an empty nester, and really looking forward to checking off all these things on my bucket list as it relates to wellness, and I'm excited to be here.
What are some of the things that's on your bucket list?
One thing is a wellness competitor.
Okay.
The second thing is Ironman. I've always wanted to.
The triathlon?
I've done 2 triathlons, I've done 3 full marathons, and on my bucket list is the Ironman, which is a triathlon marathon combination.
Yeah. You know the client that was in here the other day, Sandy, her husband has done it. I think he did the Ironman last year.
Yes.
That's take a lot.
It does take a lot. But I've always wanted to challenge my mind and body to its fullest extent, so that you can just be the best version of yourself. And so I think that challenge, I'm up for it now. I'm almost 60 years old.
Really?
Oh,
you don't look like it.
57. I'm 57. Okay. I feel like I'm 21.
Okay, you look like you're 21.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, I'm a tough guy, but I can't be messing with no Ironman triathlon stuff. I can't do that. That's just too much. Too much. I ran enough when I was younger, growing up in Inglewood, running from the police. So
oh, God.
I definitely cannot be doing that. But anyway, tell us a little more about yourself. We want them to get to know you before we go into this.
Well, 5 years ago, I lost my last remaining immediate family member. I lost my mom, my dad, and both brothers to coronary artery disease, cancer, illnesses that pretty much were preventable. At the time, I was over 211 pounds, and honestly, Earl, I thought I was next. So I lost 67 pounds. That's what really started my health and wellness journey, was 5 years ago. Got connected with Chia and really changed my diet. I changed my sedentary life. I was working 96 hours a week.
Wow.
Single mom, 3 children, delivering a lot of babies, a lot of stress. You know, I probably work in one of the highest litigious fields of medicine, right? You deliver a baby and their baby is born with crossed eyes and they'll sue you, you know. So just the stress of my profession caused me to do a lot of comfort eating, a lot of unhealthy. I think I was the most unhealthiest physician in Illinois 5 years ago. So I made a change, lost the weight, and I've never looked back. Now I'm an example for my patients.
Right.
I'm an example for my community. I'm an example for my family, really helping those to understand that there is no wealth if you don't have your health.
Right. Wow. Hey, I'm finding this out first too, like everybody else. So that's what I love about doing the on-the-spot interviews and not really rehearsing anything, because I'm finding out a lot of stuff myself. So that part is your driving force. That's why you work so hard.
Yes. That was my why. I honestly thought that I was going to be next in the family to die prematurely because of my lifestyle, because of my poor eating habits, my poor sleeping habits. 5 years ago, I never drank water. Like water. Now I drink a gallon of water, and I try to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, because
Wow.
I'm seeing in my profession, my colleagues who suffer from dementia, one thing they had in common, sleep deprivation. And so I'm telling you, I make sure that I'm in bed by 9, so I can wake up early, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, and get my day started. So sleep is really important.
Wow. So was the change hard?
The change was the hardest thing I've done in my life.
Really?
People say that medical school, which I went through, residency, I went through 3 natural childbirths, but that part of my life was the hardest part in my life, was to get into a habit of eating well, drinking water, getting sleep, and exercising. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, to lose 67 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very hard.
So what advice would you give to y'all at the school? We're gonna talk about the pandemic, all right? You know, right now I'm learning some stuff, all right?
Okay.
So what advice would you give to people? Because there are people who suffer and the change is, I guess, so hard that they do nothing. They would rather die than to make a change. And I would like to know what advice you would give people that, you know, hey, I'm going to change to save my life. Because I've had clients that they just said, fuck it, what's going to happen. But I've always, as a trainer, just like as a doctor, it's personal to you to make a change in people. That's what God put you on this earth for.
Right.
You know, so what advice would you give to people?
Well, I would say that the journey can't be because you want to be a size 5 or a 6 because you're going to go on a cruise, or you're getting ready for a wedding or a marriage or a special occasion. Your why has to be it has to be something that will make you cry. That's how big my why was, and it was to live for my children. And so the why has to be big. You don't want to wait until you lose family members to make that a priority. I wish that I had done that before to be an example for them. But your why has to be big, and it has to be a why that's so passionate. I mean, when I thought about waking up at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning to exercise, I would cry. But then I would remember, well, Rita, you're 211 pounds. So you not working out is the reason why you're this way. And you've got to make that change. And so I had a pretty big why.
So you push yourself, no one push you?
I pushed myself. My children, my 3 children, were my cheerleaders. I have my middle son, Joshua. He was the driving force. He was like, Mom, just keep going. And Earl, I don't want to say this, but I'm being transparent.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I would use the fact that I was an OB-GYN to get out of some of my workouts. I would lie to the instructors and say, GA, the hospital is paging me. I've got to go. So at the beginning, my children were like, Mom, stop doing that. Be honest, stay with it. And so, it was hard, but, I had the support of my 3 children. I had a why that I was very passionate about. And I knew that I had to be an example for my community and my patients and my family that were living.
There's a book, as you can see, I have a lot of books.
You have a lot of books.
And I read every last one that's been up there. I read every day.
I love it. The 10X rule is like my favorite.
Yeah, 10X rule is cool. But there's a book up there somewhere in there by Simon Sinek. And Simon Sinek is a great, great speaker. And one of the things that he says, you must have a strong enough why. If you don't have a strong enough why, I know, my father died from heart disease. My son, Earl Jr., he passed away maybe 4 years ago from the same thing. And he was only 32 at the time. So that's, I had already began my journey by then, but that helped because I didn't want to go through the same thing, so I didn't have, but I had already started my journey. My thing was always, as a why, was I came from a very poor background. I was a parent by the time I was 14. I was in jail by the time I was 12. I came from Inglewood, which, very, very rough neighborhood. I was raised by a single mom. And just my whole life, actually, it came to me one time I was incarcerated. And it was, you're meant to do more out of life.
Absolutely.
And so when I started, I went into a gym and asked for a job. This interview is more about you. I'm going to tell you a story real quick. I asked for a job. He didn't have a job. So I started vacuuming and wiping down equipment for a membership. At that time, membership was $79 a year. So basically, it was for free.
Wow.
So that's how I actually got started in the fitness industry. I did it for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
And then after that, it was funny. One day he left and he said, okay, I don't want you to sell nothing. I don't want you to go behind the counter and do it. And he said, I'm going to be downtown all day. I just want you to watch the place. And I'm thinking to myself, this is my opportunity. I'm selling as much as I can, which I did. And he came back, and because I had been telling him, if you gave me a position, I can make it I can earn my own pay. And so when he left, and I did that, he saw what I was talking about, and so he gave me a job as an assistant manager. And that's how I started, assistant manager, trainer, independent trainer, opening up my own club like I've had my own club for 23 years. And a lot of people don't know it now, but in the next month and a half, depending on when this pandemic ends, we have another location that we're about to open up, which is right around the corner. It's going to be an open gym.
Congratulations.
So we thank you. We've already signed a lease on it. I already bought the equipment. I'm just waiting on them to open up some stuff so we can start working on it. But my why was always to not return back to where I came from. I knew I had more in me to help, and when I started training and I started helping people, and I saw that was a gift that I had, that was my why. I love, even to this day, and I've been involved in this industry for 30 years. I started November 1st, 1990.
Wow.
The joy that I get, that clients get from my facility or the help that we provide, is still, to this day, humbles me big time. Everyone, and I've been doing this for 30 years. It does it more now today than it did 30 years ago because I understand the appreciative of it. Some people don't last that long in business, especially this industry. So I'm very, very appreciative, very humble, very laid back. I try not to talk a lot, but it's definitely humbling that something that I felt was important is important to other people, and they're willing to pay you for it. So
absolutely.
So that was my why. The whole time was just, I get 95% of the time the police came down my block, they would come to my house. I was a very, very, I ran with the gangs. I was incarcerated. I was that person that you looked at and said he won't live to be 16, which is what I was told by police, judges, teachers, everything. I was that guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what a great testimony and story.
Yeah.
We're learning so much about
I never knew. We always see each other in passing to speak, but we never, That was why I just wanted to make a change in my life. I didn't know what I wanted to do. At the time, I was an auto mechanic. And when I started working in the gym, it just felt so right. The day I walked through the door, it just felt so right.
Yes.
Said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And fortunately, thank God, I've been doing that since that day.
Yeah.
I've been working in the gym.
You know, T.D. Jakes says, if you don't know your purpose, find your passion.
Right.
Because your passion will lead you to your purpose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And truly, that is a passion of mine now, is to really impact our community. As we move into this talk about the pandemic, it is our community that's being hit hard by this virus. We, as minorities, are dying much more at a higher incidence.
Why do you think that is?
It's because of our rate of obesity, hypertension, diabetes, these comorbidities we find more in our community, and it is taking a toll if you get the COVID-19 infection. Those who are obese, those who have diabetes, those who are hypertensive have a harder, more severe illness symptomatology.
We were talking the other day, me and Jay were talking, and we were saying people that are out of shape and have other illnesses, high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever, are the ones that's dying.
Yes.
And I believe that a big mistake was them closing down gyms. But yet, hopefully, after this is over, people will start to understand how important your health is. I tell them all the time, I love looking good. I mean, I love working out. I love being in shape, but it's the health benefits.
It's the health benefits. And the common denominator with why these sets of folks are more susceptible to a severe outcome of the virus is because of inflammation. The bottom line is inflammation. When you look at chronic comorbidities like obesity, diabetes, and hypertension, it's inflammation. So by reducing inflammation and eating clean and a great diet, by the exercising not only reduces the stress that we talked about, but it really does help to improve and boost your immune system. Whatever you can do to boost your immune system will help you during this pandemic. That's exercise, that's eating clean, that's hydration, drinking your water, that's getting your sleep. All of these things boost your immune system.
See, I've been telling people this. Now we got a medical professional backing me up on this. I was right. But it's just you're in this arena. You're dealing with this thing. What do you think? I mean, we see people like you on the front line, first responders on the news.
Yes.
One of the things that I had told Chie when I said I want to interview her because she's there. Yeah. She's on the front line. She's be going the other way, and it's great to really sit down and talk. I've really learned a lot. I really have learned a lot.
And then the other thing that I just want to mention on COVID-19 pandemic is that we're hearing a lot about folks who are getting hydroxychloroquine, Plaquenil, while they're in the hospital, and there's no data at all that confirms that those medications work. And what we're seeing personally, I have a cousin personally that was on a ventilator for about 2.5 weeks. They gave her the Plaquenil, gave her the hydroxychloroquine, and now her organs, her kidneys, her liver, her heart have now been affected not only by the virus but the medication, Plaquenil, that was given to her that absolutely has no data that confirms that it works. So, this is the reason why we have to, Earl, continue to empower our listeners, empower our followers to work out, to do the things holistically and naturally to boost our immunity. So that when COVID-19 possibly can affect us, that we have an immunity or the immune system that is at its optimal balance that will help us to have a better outcome.
All right. I always like to finish an interview. I have what I call 5 rapid fire. I say one word, you tell me the first word come to your mind. Happiness. Money.
Health.
Love. Life. Your future.
Health.
That's it.
I'm sorry. Can I use the words again?
Yeah. Because that's what, obviously you're very family oriented.
Yeah, I just think that this pandemic has really shown a lot of folks what we really need, and it's our family and friends.
Yeah.
Because without those two things,
That's nothing.
we have nothing.
All right, so I want y'all to come to YouTube. Y'all take a look at Rita and follow. You can see how she looks. Like I said, no weirdos, no stalkers. And, this is a great interview. I want y'all to go on the social media page, Dr. Rita Mcguire, Mcguire, and check her out, follow her. She has a lot of good advice you can do. You can email her, you can send her a message, and she's a very nice person. So we're gonna have her back for a second interview. This one was enlightening to me. So we're gonna do it again. She's visiting for family week, so I'll snatch her up again and do another interview. So I really